This is one topic that you should not joke with in your JAMB Physics 2026. It's a topic that comes out frequently every year in JAMB. And today we're breaking down projectile motion. Hi, I'm Mr. Success by name, and I'm preparing students for JAMB for the last 10 years with excellent results. And today I'll be breaking down this topic for you, projectile motion, to make you understand everything that has to do with projectile motion. I found out that most students usually have problem in this aspect of physics. So stay with me to the end of this video. If your plan is to score very high in JAMB 2026 physics, you stay to the end of this video. So get your writing materials and let's get started. All right, projectile motion. Projectile motion. So first things first, you must first define what is a projectile. What is a projectile? Because to understand projectile motion, you must understand projectile. A projectile is any body, any object or body, any objects or body that moves in a trajectory pattern. In a trajectory pattern. So a projectile is any object or body that moves in a trajectory pattern or in a parabola-like movement. Parabola-like movement. An object that has a parabola-like movement is said to be a projectile. Parabola-like movements. So I'll show you an example of what a projectile looks like. If you have this, your horizontal and your vertical axis, and you see a body that moves like this. This body is said to be a projectile body. And the motion of such a body is referred to as projectile motion. The motion of such a body is referred to as projectile motion. So when a body moves in a parabola-like pattern, we say the body undergoes projectile motion. Now, in projectile motion, one thing that should be taken note of is that by the body moving in this parabola-like pattern, it is making an angle with the horizontal axis, theta. So let this be our horizontal axis, x, and let this be our vertical axis, y. So a body moving in a parabola-like pattern is making an angle theta with our horizontal axis. And because it's making an angle theta with our horizontal axis, what makes projectile motion different from every other type of motion is that the body is covering two dimensions at the same time. When a body is moving in projectile motion, it is covering both the x and the y axis. Let me explain. Now, if a body is moving only in a linear pattern, we say it's covering just the x-axis. When a body is moving left, right, that's linear motion. But a body could also be moving up, down, up and down. And we say this is what? Vertical motion or free fall motion, up, down motion. This is vertical motion of a body or free fall motion. But the body undergoing projectile motion is not just going left, right, or it's not just going up, down. It's covering the two dimensions at the same time, simultaneously. That's what makes projectile motion a bit more complicated. Because if you watch the trajectory motion of this body moving like this is how a projectile body moves. So it doesn't move plain vertical, plain horizontal or plain vertical. Instead, it takes up both what? Horizontal and vertical dimensions at the same time. Let us assume that this is the motion of a body moving in a projectile body. You can see that we can form dimensions on the x-axis for the body and dimensions on the y-axis for the body. So this body is covering both horizontal x and vertical y simultaneously. And while doing so, it's also making an angle theta with the horizontal called the angle of projection, angle of projection. So class, when a body is projected under projectile motion, we say is what? So the projectile motion of a body will therefore be what? The motion of a body that's moving in a trajectory pattern or a parabola-like movement of a body. And when a body is moving in a trajectory pattern or a parabola-like movement, it definitely covers an angle theta with the horizontal. What's the horizontal? The horizontal is the x-axis. Now there are some things that you must take note of. For a body to move in a projectile manner, there was what we call the velocity of projection. There's what we call the velocity of projection. Velocity of projection is u. That's the speed at which the body is projected. This body, for a body to be projected up, it means it's projected against gravity. And for a body to move against gravity, it requires an extra effort. So the speed or the velocity with which a body is used to project upward is known as the velocity of projection. So if this is a typical example, a graphical representation of the body, we'll say this is u. U is the speed of projection. But one thing you should know is that apart from this velocity of projection, known as the speed of projection, the speed of projection can be broken down into what? Horizontal and the vertical components. So this speed of projection can be broken down into horizontal. So we can have horizontal speed of projection, horizontal component of the speed of projection called Ux, and the vertical component of the speed of projection called Uy. So we can have the horizontal speed of projection and the vertical speed of projection. The horizontal speed of projection, Ux, has a formula. The formula is U cos theta. Don't forget what's theta. Theta is the angle of projection. So when a body is projected in a projectile manner, it makes an angle theta with the horizontal. That theta is called the angle of projection. So Ux means the horizontal speed of projection of the body, the horizontal component of the speed of projection of the body. Ux, U cos theta, and Uy is U sine theta. Ux is U cos theta, Uy is U sine theta. So we have the horizontal and the vertical what speed of projection. Another thing we need to take note of, the other formula that is very, very important when dealing with projectile motion is what we call the time of flight. In fact, there are three major formulas in projectile motion that you must know. One of them is the time of flight, T. The second of them is the maximum height, H. And the last one is what? Horizontal range, R. These are the three key formulas under projectile motion. Any student that wants to understand projectile motion must understand these three key formulas: time of flight, the maximum height, and the horizontal range. Now, I'll be helping us to explain these three formulas and what they mean. Some students confuse this time of flight with time to attain maximum height. There's a big difference between the time to attain maximum height by projectile body and the time of flight. Now, when a body is thrown up, of course, at a point it keeps going up until it gets to its maximum height. Now, the time it takes for the body to leave the ground and get to its maximum height is called the time to attain maximum height. But it's another time that's called time of flight. The time of flight is the time taken for the body to leave the ground, to go up, and then return back to the ground. So therefore, the time of flight is quite different from the time it takes the body to attain maximum height. Let's keep going. So now let's look at the time of flight. The formula for the time of flight of a body undergoing projectile motion is 2u sine theta all over g. The formula for a body undergoing projectile motion, time of flight, that's the time taken for the body to go up and then return down, is 2u sine theta all over g. Then we have the maximum height, h. Formula for the maximum height, that's the maximum height attained by the body, projectile body. We have u square sine square theta all over 2g. U square sine square theta all over 2g. Then we have the range. The range R is 2u square sine 2 theta all over g. U square sine 2 theta all over g. So height is u square sine square theta all over 2g. Range is u square sine 2 theta all over g. Now please take notes that why do we have height and we have range? Because what's the definition of the height and what's the definition of the range? The height is the maximum vertical distance attained by the body. So how high did the projectile body go is the height. But don't forget that the body is not just going up, it is also covering horizontal distance. When it goes up, it attains the maximum height and then starts dropping down. So let us say that the body starts from point A and lands at point B. We could also calculate the horizontal distance between point A and B. The maximum horizontal distance covered by the projectile body is now referred to as the range. The maximum horizontal distance covered by the body is referred to as the what? Range. So the range deals with the horizontal distance covered. The height deals with the vertical distance covered. That's why we have two distances in projectile motion. The horizontal distance covered, range, and the vertical distance covered, what? The height. The height. Yes, so these are the three formulas that we have when dealing with what? projectile motion. But there's one more formula that is not popular, but it's very important. It's called the time to attain maximum height. The time takes for the projectile body to attain maximum height. Like I told you, if the body starts from here and starts moving up, and it gets to this point, the time taken for the body to from the start point, starting position, till it gets to its maximum, this is the maximum height of the body. It did not go higher than this, right? So this is the maximum height. The time taken for the body to move from point A to its maximum height, time to is called small t. We use Tm to represent the time to attain maximum height, the time to attain maximum. And the formula for the time to attain maximum height is U sine theta all over G. So you can see that the formula for time to attain maximum height is U sine theta all over G. But the formula to attain time of flight is 2U sine theta all over G. So therefore, we can say that the time of flight, big T, is twice the time to attain maximum height of the projectile. The time of flight, big T, is 2 times the time to attain maximum height. Please take note. Very, very important. Let us take one key question before I end today's video. I'll just take one important question before I end today's video. So let's take this question down. A body undergoing projectile motion is projected at a speed of 20 meters per second. It's projected at a speed of 20 meters per second. A body undergoing projectile motion is projected at a speed of 20 meters per second at an angle of 30 degrees to the horizontal. At an angle of 30 degrees to the horizontal. Find the following. A body undergoing projectile motion is projected at a speed of what? 20 meters per second at an angle of 30 degrees to the horizontal. At an angle of 30 degrees to the horizontal. Find the following. So 1, we're going to find the time of flight T. We're going to find the maximum height H. We're going to find 3, the range R. 4, we're going to find the horizontal component of the velocity Ux. And 5, we find the vertical component of velocity Uy. So we're going to find the time of flight T, the height H, the range R, the horizontal component of the velocity Ux, and the vertical component of the velocity Uy. So we're going to say, let's start with which of them is easier to solve. I think we can easily find these last two, the horizontal and vertical components of the velocity. Because as I told you earlier, the horizontal component of velocity Ux represents the horizontal component of the velocity, while Uy represents the vertical component of the velocity. Why do we have horizontal and vertical component of velocity in projectile motion? Because as I told you earlier, a body undergoing projectile motion is covering 2 axes at the same time. It's moving diagonally, meaning that it's going up but still going to the right. So it's covering both vertical and horizontal. So it's going like this, but at the same time going like. So it has X component and it has Y. That's why we have, if this is the speed of projection U, if this is the speed of projection, this is the angle of projection theta, this is the horizontal component of the projection Ux, and this is the vertical component U. So this U can be split into Ux and Uy. And I gave the formula earlier. I said Ux is U cos theta. And what's our U? Our U is 20. Cos, what's our theta? Our theta is 30 degrees. So we're going to say 20 cos 30 degrees. If you punch your calculator, you're going to have 0.866 or 3 root 2. If you punch your calculator, you see that. And if you do 20 multiplied by 0.866, you're going to have 17.32 meter per seconds. 17.32 meter per. Then you also do the Uy. Uy is U sine theta. The formula for the vertical component of the velocity is U sine theta. What's our U again? Our U is still 20. But this time around is sine 30 degrees. This will be 20. Sine 30 degrees is 0.5. So that 20 multiplied by 0.5 should give us 10 meter per. So, therefore, class, our horizontal component of the velocity Ux is 17.32 meter per seconds. And our vertical component is 10 meter per seconds. So we have solved the last 2 questions they asked us to find. Let us now go and get the time of flight, the maximum height, and the range. The time of flight, the maximum height, and the range. Thank God we already have the formulas here, so we'll just solve them here. Now, please, if you notice they didn't give us G, in the formula we need G. But G is a constant which all physics students should know. G is called the acceleration due to gravity. And whether you're given or not, the value for G is already known. It's a constant 10 meter per second square. So what we need to do is to come here and replace G with 10 meter per second square and solve for our time of flight, solve for our height, and solve for our range. Let's start with our time of flight. We're going to have 2. What's our U? Our U is 20 meter per second. So 2 times 20 sine, what's our theta? Our theta is 30 all over 10. So we're going to say 2 times 20 is 40. Sine 30 degrees is 0.5 divided by 10. So that 10 can go here 1, 10 can go here 4. So that 4 times 0.5 gives us 2 seconds. So the time taken for this body to go up and then to come down is 2 seconds. Let us also solve for our height, our maximum height. Let us solve for our maximum height. Let us do our maximum height up here. Our height, our U is 20, but our height is U squared. Don't forget, so that's 20 square. Because formula for our height is U squared. So 20 square. Are we following? Sine square theta, that is sine square 30. What's our theta? 30 degree. So sine square theta means sine square 30 all over 2G, which is 2 times 10. 20 square should give us 400. Sine square 30 means sine 30 all square. Please take note. Sine square 30 also is same thing as sine 30 all square. So anytime you see sine square theta also means sine theta. You can clean this square. It's a mathematical trigonometric rule. And you can put the square outside. So always learn that sine square theta is same thing as sine theta all square. So sine square 30 means sine 30 all square. And if we resolve sine 30, you're going to have 0.5. 0.5. 0.5. So we're going to say 20 square is 400. 0.5 square is 0.25. All over 2 times 10 is 20. Now, 20 can go here 1, 20 can go here 20, because 20 times 20 is 400. So that 20 multiplied by 0.25 is equal to, if you do 20 to multiply, is equal to 5 meters. 20 multiplied by 0.25 is 5 meters. And we've gotten our maximum height. The remaining thing is the range. We can easily solve for our range here. Our range says U square, that's 20 square, which is 400. Remember our U is 20, right? So 20 square is 400. Sine 2 theta means sine 2 times, what's theta? 30 degree, right? All over 10. Sine 2 theta means sine 2 times 30, which is sine 60 degree. So this is 400 sine 60 degree all over 10. Sine 60 degree is 0.866. So we're going to have 400 times 0.866 all over 10. 0 can cancel 1 0 here. So that we have 40 multiplied by 0.866. We're going to have 40 multiplied by 0.866. If we do the math well, I think we're going to have something like 32 points. Let us get 40 multiplied by 0.866. 40 multiplied by 0.866. 40 multiplied by 0.866 will give us 40 multiplied is 34.64. 34.64 meters. 34.64 meters. And we have solved our time of flight, we have solved our height, and we have solved our range. If you found this video helpful and you've been struggling with physics, you have serious issues with physics, some people were not taught physics very well in their secondary school, and you need someone that will coach and prepare you very well for your physics jam, please message this number on WhatsApp, and then we'll add it to our general special jam coaching group where we'll coach you to score at least 300 and above in your jam. Yes, message this number and you'll be added to our jam group on WhatsApp where you'll be coached to score very high in your jam. We've done this for many students over the years and they have scored very excellent results. We have so many testimonies. So message this number, and then there's still many more things on projectile motion, but I don't want this video to be too long. But you want to join our online jam class? Yes, we have a WhatsApp group where we'll coach and prepare you for your jam. You can message this number on WhatsApp and then you'll be added. All right, thank you very much.